from season to season.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 2 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. If you guys aren't watching this on battleviewer.com, go over there right now and check it out. And finally, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you and answer for us the question of the day.
Who are your favorite battle buddies to watch?
That's right. I was talking about how I like watching Executus and Flack from Simple Tankers, but on that last match, it looks like they maybe just didn't quite battle buddy enough there against DingNA.
I've been thinking about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I'd have to go with current teams, probably Canadian Impact and Militant when they work together.
Huh. Okay.
As recently as last season, they used to do it a lot. So.
Okay. Well, speaking about that, we are about to see both those members play because right now it is Noble going up against SIMP. And our face-off is ready on the side of SIMP. We have Overlord Prime on the side of Noble. We have Comps. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off. And Overlord Prime, going to go ahead and start with you guys. It's kind of a general question of how would you guys spend this last week and a half preparing, knowing that your opponents that you were first going to face off for 2016 was Noble?
Well, to be honest, I didn't know we were going to be fighting Noble.
Okay, surprise.
The team leader told us, and I was like, oh, crap, it's Noble.
Okay.
But basically, we didn't change. We still did practice, all according to plan. But, it caught me off guard. I was like, wait, we're fighting Noble right after New Year's?
Yeah. I mean, I think that'd be actually kind of a good time. So you don't even know, and you just kind of, hey, we're going to play our game, play solid. So best of luck to you guys tonight.
All right, so who are your favorite battle buddies, past, present, or future?
Oh, crap. You brought up a tough question for me. I actually don't have an answer.
Oh.
The only time I have battle buddy answers was I think in the old format 7x42.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed watching Fnatic actually play and team it up. It was pretty insane back in the day. I always got wrecked watching you guys.
Nice answer.
2v1 all the time.
Nice
well,
answer.
man. I can't give you automatic wins, so sucking up is
it's not gonna help.
I like it.
We do have the RNG button here.
Well, I'm gonna give it one more. No, I'm not gonna let comps do it. Nobody has called me that I'm saying future. This is like, how could I possibly know who the future battle buddies are?
Right.
Anyways.
Good call. Cops, over to you, sir. Welcome back. Welcome back to America. Hopefully you enjoyed the trip. Now, just kind of my question is, how did the WCAs go? Maybe a highlight from there, some of the things you guys learned about yourself as a team, or are you excited to come back? Just general questions.
WCA was a joke. It was like the worst event I've ever been to, and I've been to some pretty bad ones. So
okay.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
It was pretty bad.
Welcome back.
Yep. Thanks.
All right. Well then, who are your favorite battle buddies, past or present?
Oh, past? Soviet Negatron.
Hey, look at that.
Some good battle buddies, and present is Impact and Militant. I mean, they work well together.
Nailed it.
All right. Well, that's a fantastic answer indeed, Comps. Thank you so much. Before, gentlemen, we get into the battle, Overlord Prime, is there anything you'd like to say to Comps before we get started?
Let's have a good game, guys. Good luck, have fun, and if you could, throw the game for us.
All right, Comps, your response.
Good luck and have fun.
All right, gentlemen, best of luck to both of you, and we'll see you very shortly. Kind of coming from Overlord Prime's kind of situation of like, we're fighting against Noble? Oh, snap. I feel like that'd be the best time. Yeah, I wouldn't want to worry about it for a week, so this is great. Just know now and just have fun and enjoy it. Like you said, this SIMP, you're saying SIMP could be the rock that Noble breaks against.
Could be. They have a long-standing habit of keeping it together when everything is falling apart, and teams just, I know from personal experience, you can be better all season long, or better in half the games, and then they're just resilient.
All right, well, let's take a look at now the rosters for both these teams. On the side of SIMP, on the side of Noble. David, some of the highlight players.
Well, I mean, these teams have been around for a long time. They're packed, loaded with highlight players. But the most recent additions to SIMP, E63M6 is definitely standing out so far. Adroxis is also long-time great player for that team.
Killing it.
And Overlord Prime himself, the guy we saw,
Very good.
also fairly good. For Noble, everyone.
Right.
I mean, everyone.
Noble, they're the champions of last season. If you guys didn't know, So that's probably why Overlord Prime was kind of shocked and odd for that to happen. But I'm excited to see our first map that we're going to go against is going to be Mines. So I'm very excited to kind of see both these teams. Usually a very aggressive map indeed. So let's, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, get right into our second match of the night. It is SIMP versus Noble. Noble on offense, SIMP on defense. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For SIMP with the 8, we have an IS-7, a Batchat, 2 907s, 2 T-22s, and RU-251. For Noble, 2 FE-215Bs, sorry, 215s, as we've been calling them lately. An E5, a Batchat, a TVP T-5051,
There it is.
Go to T-50s.
There it is.
A lot of check tanks for Noble. You know, we actually haven't seen
Them in 'em.
Noble or high voltage play
Right.
since these tanks have even been available. So this is going to be interesting.
Look at that camo. It's so good to have that.
Interesting
Good old,
doesn't do it justice. This is going to be amazing.
good old Noble, bright orange and yellow camo back here, blending in really well with the green surroundings. 7 minutes and 40 seconds here right in the beginning. It looks like a little bit of a hill play coming out for Noble, but they're sending Milton here in his Batchat around, kind of getting in this bush in the F3 area.
Go big or go home, I
Wow,
guess. Got a
Simp.
big flankerino coming out from SIMP. Or perhaps this is not what I think it is. Oh, no, here we go. They're still moving. I thought for a second they might
They're just
actually
stop.
stop and just hide. And I was like, I don't know if that's genius. It could work out.
Guys, let's just run over here and just hope.
Well, nobody would think that.
can't
And that's a
find it.
place that you can't actually spot out. Anyways, Nit's taking one shot here from Akula. This is not looking pretty for SIMP already.
This is the flank already right in the beginning, but the shots there coming out from Noble. A lot of them kind of missing here, but the first there damage going into Nits, 400 there, and then Germ 635, and the hill fight flank has begun. Crimson Corsair, though, taking tons of damage. Dodo up on top, letting all of his shots go in that 50-51. Canadian Pack fighting Crimson Corsair. Adroxus does take down German. That's Skoda T50 here, and now a 1-for-1 exchange, 6-on-6, but SIMP is suffering as far as HP goes as Akula takes down Adroxus there. Nit's taking 832, a couple more shots, and he'll be going down. Canadian Impact getting low himself, but Eternal finally takes down that 907 for SIMP. And not even a minute and a half has gone by, and so much has happened. Dodo's still on top of the hill. He is reloaded. He is taking the shots there. So much damage, shot after shot, going into E63M6. Now diving off the hill because he is now on reload. Drynitz, 839 points of damage there in the RU-251. SIMP now does have the hill. Hey, they got the hill. But it looks like it's just not enough tanks to be able to survive, as Noble is just going to finish here off photo finish. 1,100 points of damage there in that IS-7. Marsh finishing off there in that Skoda. And now just over the Prime and Drynitz remain up on top. It's kind of, here's the battle blade system. Here, guys, let's look at how Drynitz and Over the Prime share HP. Okay, never mind. External. Take it down
First possible time.
Over the Prime diving off the hill. Mars gonna try to take him down as well. And that is Noble taking out SIMP. With still 6 members alive, a very quick battle on to Mines indeed. That was just kind of the flank. SIMP was pouring all of that into that flank. They were hoping to catch off the members they needed.
It took a big risk there.
Yeah.
But there's so much DPM on Noble's side.
Oh.
A head-to-head fight was not going to work out for SIMP there. So strategic error to even attempt it, I think, personally.
Yeah. Hey, it showed.
Personally.
That's kind of how it ended out. I'm excited to see this Skoda because Dodo was racking up the damage that would look free from the top of the hill. Stats?
Let's look.
Let's check it out.
And there it is, 29.
Wow.
73. And then, let's see, both those 215s, and that's what I'm talking about. I would not want to rush anywhere where those things can get in a position where they're not easily assaultable or easily focus fired, because they're just going to rack it up. 2758, 2653, just ridiculous. And over here for SIMP, Overlord Prime got in the most damage. Photo Finish wasn't part of that group. He was able to squeeze in at 1340 before he went down, but pretty much everybody who went around that side just got obliterated.
They just got lit up.
E63 kind of survived it for a little while, but that's a low damage number for E63.
All right here, but again, just quick damage, quick battle here. They sent Milton's spot in that bat chat where they're sending him down the one line to kind of sit up by the bush. Is that just to help on the hill? Can you get shots from where he was?
Yes, actually, one of the 215s that we saw there, he can actually shoot right past him towards anybody who's going up on top of the hill.
Oh, wow.
So it's just another angle. And that's
wow.
that's what mines comes down to when you take your initial positions a lot of time, especially in the north. Is how many you don't have enough physical space to cram in all your tanks to get shots in the hill.
You just find
so where do
other
you
ways
blip
you
them?
can
And there's a variety more that we
Gotcha.
haven't seen for one reason or another. They're not favorable in the meta anymore, or the map's changed a little bit. They don't really fit, or tank heights, or it's just not a great shot because kind of the lag it takes, the time it takes to hit that doesn't really work out. But right there, Noble can put a lot of guns on any target that wants to take that
As we
hill.
saw, it was pretty effective indeed. They are now up 1-0. We're switching sides. Let's get right into it now and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
For SIMP, a 113, a bad shot, 2 T22s, a TVP, E15, a T55A. For Noble, an IS4, a 260, a 140, a T22, 2 TVPs, and an M40, M43.
Artillery.
And already on defense.
Huh.
Already on defense.
Already on D. We talk, okay, now we saw we saw Germ do this, and this is no. That was sorry. That was last season. We did technically see.
Rude.
No, I was thinking because a team tried this, and you gave it your stamp of disapproval, and I thought that was
Yeah, it was
Simp.
Simple Tankers.
Oh, it
and
was
they were
Simple
doing it with
Tankers.
Executives, and he got a boatload of damage in, but it just didn't work. And I hate it. I'm going to be honest. I hate it. We'll see if Noble's got it sorted out with a lot more auto loaders. Somehow Crimson managed to sneak on top.
Yeah, it gets on top. They're taking just one shot of damage in that bash jet, so now Simp has a little bit of control of the hill. Not too much. Drox is taking 494 points of damage there against Canadian Impact in that Object 260. Kind of trying to, the shot there going out. Looks like from the M40 and 43 just missing.
E63 can't hang out there for too much
No,
longer.
he's
If that
gotta get
M40
out.
makes a connection, it's going to be bad news. But maybe the proliferation of autoloaders that Noble has is going to make this a little bit more viable. But I just hate the strategic handicap that it is. You have to babysit it now. Guaranteed there's a tank in the southeast because that's where the Hardy's going to be.
Sure.
He's either there or at K5, K45. And if he's at K45, he just doesn't have better shots and he can get spotted or blind fired. It's just a linchpin. Perhaps they've got an entire strategy built around that. So maybe they already know what are the obvious counter moves for Simp, but who knows? But 1,043
Wow, there
landing
it
on
is.
E63.
Ugh.
I mean, if Noble gives him the room, they'll get all those shots all day. But E63 may have just taken 1,000. But the amount of damage that Simp has taken to own the hill right now, I'm not gonna rule on it. It's not a comfortable level.
That's not
But
terrible.
considering they're only 800 down, it's not terrible.
Right.
And if they can get this flank coming here that they're already working on, and it works, it's going to be 2 tanks down. It'll be Germ goes down, Marsh goes down, and then it's on the rest of Noble to find some sort of avenue to make up for what they've lost in that. They could possibly get a few cross shots from Akula. Maybe External can help out a little bit, but it's not going to be a whole lot here. And an interesting new line for Simp is they hug the cliff to guarantee that Germ can't really spot him from there, taking very minimal damage, but already getting shots on External on their way in.
All right, here comes the push there from Simp. Let's see if it's going to pay out for a Marsh now. Going back into the corner so they know where they are. But Dodo takes down Droxus. Meanwhile, they know they're going, so they're going to start pushing on the hill. Some shots there going out for a lot of them. Crimson Corsair, though, is going to take down Canadian Impact. And now Germ has to get out of there. He's taking so much damage. Marsh, though, looks like he picks up a final kill, possibly right before he goes down. One shot from Dryness does most of his health. And now a final shot should be able to finish him off there. There it is, the T55A finishing off that M40, M43. Meanwhile, back in the hill, E63, M6 taking 280 points of damage there in that T22, and Akula driving up on top, backed up by Donama to finish him off, and he's just going to take a little bit of damage to finish off that tank. Milton, 771 points of damage, 298 now to follow it up there, and Simp doing a good job bullying Noble now out of their spawn. Over the Prime now, and Nits are chasing External away. A nice shot there going on to Nits and Dry Nits as well. Some damage are going across External, though. At 50-51, it's going to be up to him to take down Nits. Let's see if he can do it in his 4 shots. There's one. Here comes a second. It looks like the second one bounced, which is so unfortunate. The final one does, which is going to allow Dodo to pick him up there. But now Overlord Prime is going to get behind him. Meanwhile, Germ taking down Dry Nits. And now 5 tanks still alive for Noble. Overlord Prime should be able to take down External here. That is going to be a tank there falling. But with just Photo finishing it, Overlord Prime against Germ, Akula, Dodo, and Militant, it looks like Noble is going to pick up possibly another victory. But Overlord Prime taking down Akula. Dodo takes down Overlord to respond. And now Photo Finish is in a bit of a pickle here. Taking shots from Dodo on top, taking shots from Germ, that IS-4. The IS-4 bouncing. Again, we're talking about just hitting that thing head on. So hard to penetrate. And Militant is going to finish it off. And that is going to be Noble with the second victory of our second match of the night. So I'll ask you, before we kind of get into stats or anything that happened, in your opinion, did the artillery brought for Noble work out there?
Yes.
Great. All right, cool. So they
I
did
mean,
it there.
obviously, to begin with, I find almost the damage that it did irrelevant, although it did a good bit. Let's check it out while we can, and I'll talk about why the way Noble just used it is different from the way everybody else did.
Great.
So, there's the damage. You can read it. 2,000, well, below 2,000 all the way down here. And then for Noble, Akula, 2780, Dodoma, and 2531 out of his Object 140. Germ, staying alive far too long and also getting 2,000 damage.
Yeah.
And Marsh, almost 2,000 damage. I mean, everybody just racking it up there. It's actually Militant that didn't get into the positions as quickly as he needed to. I'm sorry, that's not his fault. It just wasn't in positions to do the damage, which could very well be strategic. So they brought a lot of autoloaders to make up for the fact that they're not going to have a tank in the fight. To me, it looks like it almost doesn't even matter if the M40 hits his shots.
Really?
In most situations. He's there to make the enemy team do something. Now, what they're going to try and do is come get him or isolate him in some way, because any other place is very well covered. Germ stays alive in his IS-4, mostly because there wasn't a hill presence to shoot him when he came down. That is where things really went wrong. So that could still be the vulnerability to everything.
If they have hill control.
If they can, if the opposing team knows how to get it. But what I saw there was Noble probably counting the exact number of tanks they saw. As soon as they saw 3, they knew they had an overmatch where they wanted it to. They pushed on a hill, got the weak tanks, and made it work. There are nuances to what was done there that couldn't backfire on Noble, or that SIMP could do better. And it's a highly technical thing that comes down to complexity, but when you play at this level and you're able to execute that well, I'll just say I'm still not overall objectively a fan of the M40, but the way Noble used it, it's like, fine, use it if you want. I mean,
all right. Well, show him they can
ballgame.
Bring it and make it work as well. Noble now up 2-0 against SIMP. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
So for SIMP, an i7, a Bat Chat, 2 907s, 2 T22s, and RU251. For Noble, 2 215s, and E5 Bat Chat, a TVP, and 2 SCOTUS.
The SCOTUS, I mean, they're doing work with those things. Have you kind of got a more chance to check them out, kind of look at their strengths?
No, I haven't gotten to play it yet.
Gotcha. They just seem like just such fun tanks. I mean, the 4-shot autoloader.
Yes.
Which shots do you prefer?
4 shots, yes. I actually prefer anything lower than 6, mostly. 6 is just too much. It gets in the way. That 6 shot is very hard to get out, and it just makes you reload longer. So 4 is kind of a dream number. 3 is not bad. It's not enough to do a whole lot, but you reload pretty quickly. And Noble actually taking a lot of damage here just in early rotations, as SIMP played a very aggressive middle move and then immediately locked Noble into the west. 1 tank going down, the TVP Dodoma right now. Drynet's taking a good amount of damage, but SIMP is looking great to try and convert this into a win, provided they can get the nice resets on where Noble is right now. And mostly it's Drynet's that kind of has that angle, and he's being locked down. So SIMP's going to have to make some minor rotations. They will find the angles. The question is, will they find it in the 14 seconds they have left?
That's true. Now down to 11. It's going to be up to SIMP to find that 1 shot. They just didn't get any little chunk of damage on any of the tanks, and that is going to be a Droxus popping up in the 907 to get the shot. An external Akula taking down Drynet. So there's one of those angles we talked about gone, but that might have been enough time for SIMP to get back in the position. A Droxus again popping up, taking the shot, only taking 716 points of damage for it, and I will take that damage all day if it means that my team can get into a position where that we can guarantee a win here. Canadian Impact taking the shots there onto Overload Prime. Nits now photo finish, getting, like we talked about, David, kind of getting the position that we're talking about. 8 seconds on the clock. Adroxus just need to pop over, and Noble being surrounded now. Up on top, they were fighting against, it looks like a Bat Chat. Is that a T22 up there? Looks like they're just going to start getting reset all day long. E63M6 and Crimson Corsair doing work. Germ, Marsh, and Milton doing the best they can to kind of cover Akula and external, as well as Canadian down bottom. But just so many angles for SIMP to be able to reset Noble.
Yeah, Noble got blocked very, very hard. I'm not entirely sure why more of their tanks didn't rotate further down the 1-2. Probably shying away from the damage they had already taken, but they're going against mostly single-shot tanks, so there's actually a little bit of time during reload that they can still get someplace. However, most of these tanks reload very quickly, so hard for me to necessarily judge what they saw and their decisions at that point in time. But a struggling match. It's still not over for Noble. If they can get the right rotations and get this pick, they could be back in business, as both of these tanks are going head-to-head. Militant versus Crimson Corsair.
Let's see who's going to come on top, but Milton is taking some damage there from Overload Prime from the hill. 1,100 points. He now knows that, so he's going to get behind a rock to try to save himself, but they are both now on reload. The Bat Chat chat and the bat chat. Milton is ahead, and some shots there coming from Noble. Beautiful pickup from Akula and External to try to finish him off. This is going to be a very awkward moment for both of these bat
could
chats.
Get picked up by Photo, which would be a huge coup for Simp. Milton's got to stay behind that wreck and not give that shot an opportunity. He will reload before Crimson. And meanwhile, the rest of Noble trying to make something happen there in the middle.
Up on the hill, External taking 706 points of damage there. Nits, Overlord, and Droxy, though, are in just such good positions, and it's going to be to Noble to push up on top of them. They are on the defensive team. The shot there going to Milton. There it is, and Photo Finish does pick up Milton right, though, before his teammate goes down. Nits taking a little bit of damage there from anyone External. One more shot away with 3 members alive against the 4-4 Simp. Again, like you said, David, it is not quite over, but with External so low, one more shot will take out that 5B from the game. Noble is getting good damage there on the top of these teams. It looks like Over the Prime might be focused off here. Canadian turning his turret. Akula has a shot there. He takes a shot, just missing a Droxus, but he's forcing both these tanks off the hill, and they cannot come back up. They now are all the way down, and they're leaving Nits up on top to die by himself. Canadian Impact picks that one up. It is now a 3-on-3. Noble tried to come back here. Canadian Impact taking 500 points of damage there in that E5 from Photo Finish. Still a full health IS-7, though. That is terrifying. That is a huge...
Very likely going to be a 3-on-1 unless Droxus can get around and pick off that one-shot 2-on-5 there. Canadian Impact and Akula trying to find the angles, but Photo Finish does have superior terrain. Yeah. They do now have them somewhat locked in position. Unless Droxus makes a big mistake and gives External the pick that he needs, but it looks like Akula is going to be vulnerable. Droxus is taking it very carefully. There's no need for them to overpush the situation they have, overplay their hand. Akula bouncing one shot, or that shot missing from a Droxus.
Droxus just missed a shot.
And this is tenuous. This is close. Any team can win this, but Simp certainly has the better positions and higher HP.
419 damage there going into that IS-7. Another shot from a Droxus missing Akula. That's 2 now. And now Akula is going to start pushing off onto him. He finds him, takes a shot. His shot misses as well, which is probably a big breath of fresh air there for Droxus, but he misses his shot again. It's kind of a back and forth shooting gallery here, but no damage being spent on either side of the team. Akula going to knock the tree down. Another shot going through both shots again, missing again. The 5B versus the 907. Now, David, in head-to-head, who would win, do you think?
Between Akula and Droxus?
Yeah.
It should be Akula, honestly.
All right, meanwhile, External does get a pickup, and that's going to leave Photo Finish being shot by External, who is doing work with just a sliver of HP alive. Canadian Impact taking the shot there on the Photo. 412 goes on him, 451, 794. One more shot, and Photo can go down. He has to bail off the hill. 81 points of damage there going into him, and that is going to be External's cue to come around to help out Droxus. Let's see if he can pick it up. External coming down. Droxus is on the run. He had to get out of there. External still playing it safe. Canadian Impact being the one to send around the E5 versus the I7. Who is going to get that pick up there? Just, oh, it's so intense. One or the other has to take the shot. Simp cannot run away. Akula looking for a Droxus. External now going for the hill play. They're going to go at the same time. Akula going for the down. Droxus not quite holding the shot. Looking back, I'm not going to give it to him. Canadian does take it down. Droxus fight External, but Akula line the shot, making sure he does not miss. The shot bounces there. Droxus could take down Akula. This could be Simp's victory here, going to the 5B, and that is going to do it. Simp with that one. Canadian Impact now is alive. It is now a 1v1. So close here. A minute and 38 seconds is on the clock. Canadian Impact being sent around, but he is so slow here. He has a minute and 30 to find him. If he goes back on cap now, I'm not sure he's going to have enough time. It is a minute and 30 seconds.
He doesn't. He cannot cap on his own. Droxus is going to try and run away to the place where he gets the most for warning if he sees Canadian coming, and he can get that shot in.
Wow.
2 shots.
Wow.
More likely than not that it will take for a Droxus to win. Canadian knows very well that he could probably spend this next minute and 10 driving and never make contact with the Droxus.
So you're just going to kind of sit there, sitting by that E5. Maybe going to try to play a mind game and head back to the cap. He might know that's where he's going to be. He has 60 seconds to find this 907, and a Droxus is just driving.
He's played it very tricky, though. He didn't step on cap to guarantee that, that Droxus doesn't know where he is. The Droxus, fortunately for himself, backing into what I consider the most ideal place here. He could have tried to be tricky about it and assume, well, he didn't step on cap, so he didn't go back across the 2, so he'd go all the way down to the southeast, which would have been an error. And if he had done that, there's a reasonable chance the Canadian Impact would have found him and blown him up in the process. But right now, Droxus is going to what is probably the best place overall, but there are some slight angles where Canadian could technically spot him just before
20 seconds.
Droxus spots him. It's close. It is close. And Canadian He's got 10 seconds to find the right angle. Or blind fire the bush. I'm not sure which. If he gets spotted by Adroxus, that could provide all the information he needs. But it looks to me
4
like he's now
seconds.
out of position. He can't possibly get that shot. Unless Adroxus... Nope.
Nope. Takes
Nice blind fire. Good bush selection for that, though. Good bush
But
selection.
that is going to be Simp's victory there in what seemed so close, man. Right at the end, I mean, I really thought that Noble was going to take that one, too. The shot there just bouncing finally at the end. I was like, oh, it was a very good
Akula
Canadian
barely
back.
missing that one.
Just barely. Just so
Barely.
close. But a great way to come back because we talked about how Noble's like, oh, it's over. I mean, Simp had the angles. They should be on this rack of the points all day, and Noble's still
Well, Canadian
almost coming back
Impact,
and winning.
Canadian Impact went kind of 1v2. External was there supporting him quite a bit and able to take down a lot of the damage, HP lead that was going on there with the I7 versus the E5. But Impact putting in a heroic effort. External getting the right support damage
Killing
at the
it.
right
Oh,
time.
such good
Really
plays.
just kind of went wombo with the external Akula trying to get the right shots at the right time. And they should have had it. They should have coordinated a little bit better, and that would have been game, but they didn't get it.
All right, there. Now, anything in stats?
Well, plenty.
Plenty.
Let's go look.
a lot of damage was done in that battle.
Adroxus with 3561, Crimson Corsair with 3000. You can see those numbers there. The call-outs here for Noble, 3920 for Akula, 3127 for External. Both those 215s, great tanks. And Canadian Impact with 2147.
Dodo.
Dodo, he was the one that got melted right off the bat.
Right. Gotcha. That makes sense. So he was out of the fight there, kind of.
There's your problem.
Early on, right when the battle kind of began there. But something that also we don't really see a lot of teams do on the offensive side, going for the western cap. We don't usually see them go for that too. They usually rush the hill or maybe go for a flank around the side, but just to put so much members right there. Is that something that once you get there? Obviously, we saw the 907 on top of the hill reset it super easily. Why did they try to put so many members there? Was there a chance they even had it?
I think they wanted more 1-2 presence to go all the way down and own the southwestern corner. They just didn't get it because they got that early pick from SIMP. So I think they had a plan and it just fell apart.
All right, well, a good victory there for SIMP. Now, our last battle between these two teams on Mines. Can Noble go up 3-1 or can SIMP tied up 2-2? Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
SIMP with a 113, a Batchat, two T22s, a TVP, an E15, a T55A. Noble with an IS4, 260, a 140, a T22, a TVP, and two SCOTUS.
And they're not bringing
Dropping
the artillery.
The artillery, which I'm just 100% a fan of what I've seen out of them on defense so far. You know, the artillery one time, the way they used it, sure.
Right.
It's still against themselves. They could
No.
very well lose to that.
Right.
But, you know, got to play to your opponent. And then not bringing it again is a brilliant idea because Simp definitely would have spotted the weak points and they would be able to capitalize on them again. So I like it.
Crimson
E63.
Corsair again getting up on top of the hill, but E63 M6 taking a lot of damage in that T22, but Germ taking a lot himself, 683, dropping well below half, and that Skoda a good amount of fire from Simp to focus down that T50. Now Noble having to back off, and this is the second time that Simp has been able to get a member up on top of the hill without taking a lot of damage for it. Do you think this is just something that Noble isn't quite expecting? That maybe something that has changed while they've been gone?
No, I don't think anything is necessarily something they didn't expect in terms of just movement. They may have expected to get more damage on it because they had the right positions for it and they just didn't hit the shots.
Okay, gotcha. All right, here. So now that the hill has gone over to Simp, David, again, you know, since this is kind of the theme is battle buddies, right? So the theme this week is looking at how how teams successfully HP share between their tank and a friendly tank to get the most out of the tank that they're driving. In this situation, do you generally pair up tanks of the same class? You know, a tier 10 with a tier 10. Would you ever pair up a tier? Would you ever share HP with a lower level tank?
It definitely depends on the positions that they're in at the time, or the positions that they're going to go to, on what is usually pairable and what isn't. But most of the time, tanks of the same speed are what matter the most.
Speed, okay. Okay.
But it doesn't necessarily matter. You can put an i7 and a mouse in a corner as long as the corner is close enough for the mouse to get there. So it just depends. But either way, SIMP
Wow.
now taking advantage of the 1 cap. I would expect Noble to have a plan for this, but they left it vacant for a very long time, and they could very well take a ton of damage trying to get back in time with less than 16 seconds left in the clock.
Sim doing a fantastic job trying to catch Noble off guard. Let's see if it's going to work out. Canadian Impact should be able to get there in time to take some damage there. 9 seconds on the clock over the Prime. Nits now being spotted out there. Canadian holding a shot, waiting to make sure he can get the guaranteed damage, and there it is, 528. Going on to the E50. Meanwhile, E63 taking down Dodo with the help of a lot of the members of SIMP up on top of the hill, like we're talking about, David. Just Noble taking so much damage, and was it going to be worth it? That looks like exactly what SIMP wanted them to do. Photo finish now, and Adroxus, though, taking tons of damage. 1,000 points of HP there. Going to that 50-51 photo finish, taking some damage as well. Marsh backing off. E63 and Crimson coming to take him down. One shot just missing. The second shot going to Crimson, but now he is on reload, and he has to run. Adroxus is going to line him up all the way. E63 M6 is not going to let him go. But like you said, David, Milton in that 50-51 doing work, pulling 2 of the members of SIMP, the T22 and the T55 back around to the north. Now he's on reload, though. He has to be careful. 1 shot, 2 shots going at him. 6:37 backing off into hill. He's just a few more seconds away. Dryden is going to go for the ram. 760 and over the Prime. She'll be able to take him down. Will he get the shot off in time? No, it looks like he's not going to be able to. Over the Prime, taking down Milton there. And that is all 7 members of SIMP alive still. And Noble is just fading slowly but surely here. External and Canadian Impact now doing their best to Canadian doing his best to kind of shield External from some of the damage kind of battle blade system we were talking about here. Meanwhile, Kula and Germ sent up north over the Prime with another kill taken down to Kula. Germ taking the shot there. Maybe before he gets it, Nit's picking him up right before he goes around the corner. A beautiful shot there from that E50, and SIMP. So they're going to pick up their 2nd victory, tying it up against Noble here on Mines. Canadian does find photo finish here. Adroxus, though, taking down External, and that should be it once Crimson takes a shot. No, both shots actually bouncing there. E63 M6 finds him, and that is SIMP tying it up now 2-2 against Noble here. On to Mines. SIMP doing something that we don't really see a lot of teams do, going over to the eastern side, trying to cap out the cap. We talk is uncappable, but not using it for the cap pressure. Well, yes, for the cap pressure, but mainly using it to bring the team and do the damage to them as they go. And that's, I guess, again, such a huge victory of having the hill. Like, if you're up there and you do that, it's so hard for their team to, I mean, that's kind of the fastest way they can get there. They only had 10 seconds. I don't think they had enough time to go around the entire north, did they? Was Noble just kind of not in the position to get there as quick as you think they probably want to?
Well, it was a good job by SIMP recognizing they had the opportunity when they did, as quickly as they did, and using it. Noble, I don't know what they were doing. I have no idea. It looks like they ran a strategy and somebody didn't take a position they were supposed to, or something. Something went wrong there, or that was a strategy I just don't understand.
Okay.
That was.
Well, maybe we can watch it, but we also
they
have
left an opening for exactly what SIMP did, and then the response to it was rushed and late and panicked.
Okay. Well, we do have some time now as Noble have called a timeout.
Stats then.
So let's go to stats.
E63 and the T22 with 39.38. Dryness with 2,000. Adroxus and company. Everyone breaking 1,000 on SIMP's team.
Yeah.
For Noble, Impact there with not only some clutch saves on the resets there, but a good bit of damage. 34-40. Impact having a great set so far. And External with 2,000, and the rest of them, you see Dotama there. He got melted. He got into pretty much a kill zone where you can get fired on from the hill and from cap. That's not a good place to be.
Not especially if you want to shoot the red things. So looking at what you said, Noble possibly had a strategy that was just, okay, like maybe there's a strategy and we do risk that SIMP could do what they did, but then generally if you do that, you have a response. You're just saying that Noble's response just wasn't.
They either didn't have one.
It was just,
or something was broken from the beginning. They should have had other positions, or they should have maintained their momentum up the west side. Yeah, if they did that and they didn't expect, and they just hoped or didn't expect anybody to actually have the 2 cap or perform the 2 cap, then they weren't really thinking very far ahead.
All right.
So I'm comfortable saying it had to have been a mistake on their part, but
part.
It's impressive to me how quickly SIMP recognized and took advantage of it.
Sure. Because, again, if they would have waited, another 30 seconds,
it would have been
a
totally different battle.
Right. So, yeah, good on them for finding that one. Were you watching Militant up in the top when you were saying he was against the 2 tanks? He was doing a fantastic job. It was like a 2v1. He almost took out both of them, but he was on the reload while he was taking the damage toward the end of the battle.
Yeah, I mean,
You-
that's all that
it was-
happened.
oh, sorry,
He got in
I
a
wondered if
clip.
anything was
He got
going
in a
through.
clip, and it all damaged everybody. But he didn't have enough time to reload, and 2 people chased him down and killed
Finishing
him.
off. All right, well, so unfortunate kind of turn of events there for him. Now we're going to be going into Cliff. So this is a map we're kind of talking about. It comes down to such player skill, and looking at kind of both these teams, looking at what they've happened so far. Who would you give that advantage to onto Cliff?
I don't know so far. Usually I would say Noble, but I would also would have said that on Mines. But so far, these past 2 games, they did not look particularly strong.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe Simp has found a way to kind of disrupt the #1 team right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to go into Cliff. It is all tied up 2-2. Can Simp start gaining a lead against Noble, or can Noble come back? Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
This right here is the most important game for Simp in this set, in my opinion. Simp with a Bat Shad, an STB, 2 T22s, a TVP, and an RU-251. For Noble, a Bat Shad, 2 STBs, 2 TVPs, and 2 Skodas. That's a lot of autoloaders.
So you're looking for a fight.
It's a lot for both sides.
Looking for a
But
fight.
more for Noble. In a fight, well, they both want to fight, and Noble will win it. Just lineup v lineup, Noble will win it if it happens. But Simp could have better positions. They could rotate better. They could battle buddy better. Who knows? I mean, so far, Simp is playing a lot better than they have through most of the set, most of the season. The E63 has really helped round out kind of their shooters on their team. Not that they needed a whole lot of help there, but he's a great addition to any team. And we do have both teams smacking right into each other here in the middle, and this should be interesting.
Showed us some damage. They're going off. There it is. 381. They're going to photo finish, and the fight has begun. It is going to be an absolute brawl, but who is going to come in on top? External taking down photo finish with beautiful focus fire there. Overlord Prime, 1350 points of damage. And that T22 medium, Marsh and Germville have taken a lot of damage as well. Milton, meanwhile, that Bat Shot taking some. Cool up on top, having to back off. Crimson Corsair, his entire clip has been dealt. He is now on reload. 7,000, now 6,000 points of HP for Simp against 5,800 for Noble, but Noble is a tank up. Nits getting lit up there, getting backed right into all members of Noble. Beautiful focus right there, and that is 2 tanks already going down for Simp. And Marsh might be going down right next to Germ as EC3 picks up Skoda, that T50 there, and there it is. The 2 T50s going down, and the third E63M6 taking down another external. That is 3 members of Noble gone just like that, and the tides might have turned, but Dodo takes down Droxus. Overlord Prime taking down Dodo in return. 3 members for Noble against the 4 for Simp. Simp might be able to pick up this victory. The HP is just about tied up. Canadian Impact looking for the shot there in the 50-51 there. Milton, though, is now reloaded. 1 shot goes over the Prime. The second shot gonna finish him off. He is turning now to EC3M6. Canadian Impact picking that one up, and the turnaround again. Noble now is the one who is up a tank against Simp. Crimson Corsair now bullying Akula off the hill. He is driving now very aggressively through. Akula shot goes through. Crimson looking at him. Crimson does take him out there. 690 points of damage, though, he takes by going down. So Milton is going to come down to take him out. Canadian Impact, meanwhile, takes down Drynitz. Milton finds Crimson, and that is going to be Noble.
Militant and Impact, the battle buddies left together.
Woo! There it is. A fantastic play there for Noble. The vibe back and forth, back and forth. Crazy plays coming out for both of the teams. Dodo with an amazing pick there. At the end, I didn't know who it was, but being able to pick up EC, I don't know if it's EC3M6, but really kind of turning the tide back around in their favor, and just so much happened there. I really was so caught up. Did you see some of the things?
Dodo got a Droxus, I believe.
A Droxus.
So he was picking off one of the autoloaders before the autoloaders came back. That's what Noble was focusing it on, trying to pick the most appropriate target at the most appropriate time, which is tricky. What that came down to is really in the very beginning of the battle. We've been talking about it, and it's kind of the theme of the night, but the battle buddy system, right then and there. This is what makes some of these top teams so strong and so hard to deal with. It's not that Simp is a good team. We've talked about that a lot, right? We've talked about how Noble's on a different tier than a lot of people. Not that it necessarily looks like it right now. It looks like Simp might be edging their way back onto that pedestal too. But on that outside fight, Noble shared HP perfectly. They focus fired. They took down 2 tanks very quickly. And it was actually kind of their standoff trades where things went a little bit wrong. Nits tried to make a big play, got picked for it, and that really started weakening Simp overall.
Okay.
And then from there, Militant, Canadian Impact, playing battle buddies, but a different kind where it's not HP sharing.
They were separated, yeah.
They're separated, and they're rocking back and forth, pushing people to make their turrets break side to side, getting the right picks at the right time. I believe Militant took down Dodoma He took down somebody very, or sorry, not
I was like, why did you take down Dodo? That's his battle
He took
buddy.
down, I want to say it was Overlord Prime. Yes, Overlord Prime T22. And that's huge. Right then and there, that was pretty much when the game was won, is when Militant
Really?
stepped up and made that play at
Really?
the right time. Canadian Impact staying alive far too long considering the position he was in.
Is he on top of the hill?
He was down low.
Oh.
Impact and Militant played very well that game.
All right. Well, a fantastic turnaround out there for Noble, kind of coming back and showing their dominance after a tiebreaker.
Didn't get to stats, did we?
We didn't, but hey,
We'll do it next
It
time.
was super exciting. Let's get now into the
cover both
next
games
battle.
next time.
Noble is up 3-2 against SIMP. We switch sides. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
SIMP with a bat chat, an STV, 2 T22s, 2 TVPs, and an RU251. Noble with a bat chat, a 140, an STB, 2 TVPs, and 2 SCOTUS. Another
those
firefight
SCOTUs.
maybe coming at us. See if one team has a curveball to throw the other one.
The donut.
The donut indeed.
See if they.
We'll definitely have to go back and look at last game's stats as well as this game's stats as soon as we can. I'm curious to see how much Drynitz did. He looked like he stayed alive for quite a long time.
That'll be interesting to see, as it looks like, though. It looks like the donut is not going to be the place to fight. They're just going to go for the middle. SIMP and try to stand their ground now on offense to try to do what Noble just did to them. See if they can learn there from whatever mistakes that they possibly did, or try to catch Noble and get them in a position where they are just quite not comfortable fighting Militant, taking 2 shots, but not a single point of damage there. And the third from EC3M6, finally one connects for 301 points of damage, and the battle has begun. Crimson Corsair has snuck around the top, taking the shot there, but again, Militant bouncing another one. Dodo now back on bottom. Nitz going up against him. So much damage going through. Adrox is taking some. Photo Finish taking some. Germ getting lit up, over 1,000 points of HP, 1,300, and that T50, the Skoda might be going down here. One more shot. E63M6 is going to pick up that one, and that is the first tank there falling for Noble. Photo Finish taking down external, and the battle has begun, and SIMP is showing their dominance. Dodo taking though EC3. Nitz finds March. That's the second T50. No Skodas remain for Noble. Akula taking out Droxus. 5 members for SIMP remain against the 4 for Noble, and just a minute and a half going into this battle. There's so much that has happened over the Prime. Now kind of in between Canadian Impact and Akula. Canadian does find Nitz right before it goes down, tying up the tanks 4-4, but the HP lead still in SIMP's favor. Over the Prime takes some damage there. Militant just barely staying alive. One more shot, and he should be going down. Over the Prime. No Dryness from on top of the hill is going to be the one to end his day. And then RU251, Canadian Impact now, and Akula are kind of set to kind of keep Dodo alive, I guess. He's just gonna get lit up there from Dryness from on top. One more shot, and he should be going down. Dryness picks that one up. Canadian Impact and Akula are all that remains against the 4 members of SIMP, and it looks like SIMP will be able to find this victory. Canadian finds Dryness. Photo takes him down, though, and just as STB1 remains, Akula going ham for Overlord Prime. He wants to take down this tank before he goes down himself, looking for the shot, takes it on the run, and now is going to continue with the drive. Crimson lined the shot up, though. The shot just bouncing from that RU251 from the back.
It's technically a
nice
1v1,
shot
though.
Going through. That's true. He has now separated himself from the other side. I don't know what happened to, was it Nitz on top of the hill, but he is going down. Akula now going up against Photo Finish. The shot there, 316 goes into him. Akula looking for him. He might be able to find it. No, the shot bounces. A terrible turn of events there, and that is going to be his Photo Finish with the victory for his team. SIMP now tying it up 3-3. What happened to Nitz up on top of the hill? Wasn't he alive? I don't think
Drynitz.
was it Drynitz?
The RU251?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Drynitz. I'm
Where'd he
pretty
go?
sure.
I thought he was still alive. I didn't think
Well,
Crimson took him down.
Somebody got to pick on him.
Oh, well, I
We'll,
guess
we'll have to
we'll have to find out what happened.
Either way, we've got a battle on our hands
That's
right now.
right.
So let's go ahead and review the stats
Last match stats.
for the last match first.
Right, let's go with that.
So not the match you just saw. Sorry, not the game you just saw. The game before that, where Noble won. This, well, you can see the numbers. Canadian Impact just doing work. Tons of it. Marsh getting focused out. And Drynitz, 2,000. I mean, this is a situation where I might start favoring the tier 8 over tier 9s, because so far Drynitz is killing it. So let's close this and check out the most recent game. Again, Drynitz was 1730.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing more than if you added up both the tier 9s for German Marsh together.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Sure.
Like he's killing it in those positions, and it's a situation where it's just so hard to deal with him because he's not a huge threat, but
So
he's
you're like,
obviously adding up. And overall, again, Canadian Impact killing it. Akula doing a great job that game as well. and just not what I saw. What I saw there, most importantly, was again the Battle Buddy system, but this time SIMP played it better, and it all takes place right on that western edge, which to us, when we see it on screen, is usually closest to the screen. So there's kind of that hill sending up to the lighthouse away from us, right? And that's closest, and then we see usually a 3-on-3. But all the other positions are there to block everybody else from getting flanks and to focus their shots into that area. So that is where the battle takes place. A lot of the time, unless somebody else makes a huge play someplace else. What I saw was when Noble got there, they got there weird. Like some tanks were sideways, some tanks were trying to leave. So they were in transit and trying to move around, and they're wiggling in the kill zone. And then SIMP showed up, battle buddied them, and just ruined them.
All right, but like David said, we do have a battle on our hands now. It's all tied up 3-3, getting right back into the battle. Who is going to go up? Let's find out. Let's take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
SIMP vying to dethrone last season's champions with a Bat Chat and STB, 2 T22s, 2 TVPs, and RU251, driven by Dry Knits. So far being a big problem in these games. Noble with the Bat Chat, 2 STBs, 2 TVPs, and 2 SCOTUS.
Right here, Crimson Corsair over the Prime, leading the charge here for SIMP as we start out now our 7th battle of the night. Now here's the exciting news, David. This is what I'm excited about. It seems like we've got a really amazing fight between both these teams on a cliff. If this goes into a tiebreaker, guess what this week's tiebreaker map is? It's Cliff.
Oh.
That's right. So it is going to be decided on Cliff. Ladies and gentlemen here, let's see if Noble looks like they're getting to their positions maybe a little bit later now. Again, these Bat Chats always in the way. Some of the quickest tanks here on either of these teams in the
take
fight.
Everybody right over the south. Sorry.
Just go.
I get too caught up in this.
No, it's great. This is good. The damage now starting to begin, and the fight on the bottom again has begun. Who is going to come out on top? So much damage going up to Noble again, but over the Prime getting lit up. He gets blown up. The Skoda Marsh taking him down before he goes through, but Germ taking so much damage there. Nits picking him up. Dryness coming around the side. Now not going for the hill, taking the donor himself. Is going to now come around behind Noble and start letting shots go one at a time, slowly whittling Noble down. Noble with just 5 tanks against the 6 of SIMP, and it looks like this might be SIMP's battle unless Noble can do a fantastic job down here. Canadian Impact does take down photo finish. Droxus though taking out Akula. External going down to Dryness from the back. Marsh now with one more shot, over 1,000 points of damage. Canadian finding Nits, and now, whoa, a huge chuck there going into Marsh in that T50. 290 points damage there. Each 3-6 will be going down to Dodo. Dryness again, a second, just the cleanup from that RU251, doing a fantastic job for his team. It is a 3v2. Canadian Impact going for him shot. The shot there, Crimson does get one more out into Dodo, but now Droxus is loaded with his 4 shots in the 50-51. That is 1. That is 2. Here comes 3. Maybe waiting. He's looking for it, and Canadian Impact is going to block him, doing a fantastic job. This is the Battle Buddy system we were talking about. Droxus having to let go of all of his shots. Canadian going to chase him over, but Dryness is there. Dryness goes for the ram, and now Droxus has to run. He is on the reload. Dryness finishes off the STB1, and now Dodo is going to be going ahead of him, but Dryness might be able to take on this STB1 too. One more shot. Will Dodo find it? No, Dodo shot goes through. Dryness might be able to pick up all of these kills. This is going to be the 4th one, and that is an RU251 doing work. SIMP picking up their 4th victory against Noble here. What in the world just happened? That was an RU251 doing so much damage, doing fantastic. The placement was great. The shots were great. Oh, so much greatness there going through. All I can say, sarsaparilla, baby. Sarsaparilla.
Stats.
Check out stats.
I don't even know what to say to that. A Droxus with 3882. Let's see how many clips you got out of this thing. 3. Wow. Brutal. I mean, Dodo was going after him, trying to make sure he took him down before he clipped, and ended up being dead to rights to him in clip territory. Got to do it as a unit. Crimson Corsair getting just over 1 clip there, and E63 getting into as well. Dryness, 23-13 in RU251, shooting 12 times, penetrating 12 times.
Oh, so much damage.
He blocked a shot, which is just ridiculous.
Good for him.
That's crazy. Every tank that he started damaging, he destroyed, is what it looked like. He started damaging 4, killed 4. So I don't know. It could be he damaged 4. And no, actually, that's the only way it makes sense. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Every tank that he engaged, he killed.
He killed.
Dryness, the executioner, the assassin. And Canadian Impact for Noble, 4163. Dodoma with 3429. Akula with 1231. And Marsh, oh, you see it, going all the way down there. Just Militant got shreked. Absolutely annihilated. It's little finesse points when you play that. That's what it's impossible to talk about. I can't show this.
We have to like have a whole segment where like go through with the tank.
You get lost in all the different permutations of things. Well, if they go here, here, and here, then you need to go here, here, and here. But if they then move, then you got to do this. Well, if they, whatever.
Sure.
I'm not going to keep chasing it out.
And this is where it comes down to player skill. Like when you're in the moment, you just find your shots, hit the shots.
That's why occasionally I'll get a player or somebody like that, a team captain who asks me these kinds of things, and I'll just be like, go watch this game.
and find
study
out,
as much
find
as you
out
can,
for
because
yourself.
I can't explain it to you.
All right.
This would be the hallmark right here. Both teams are playing it well. Simp's playing it better.
Simp now one more victory from taking down the #1 team in their second season, and they could do it right here on Cliff. Will this be the victory, or can Noble come back and tie it up? Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Woo! It's do or die time for Noble. This is probably the first time they've actually seen their own potential demise. This is when you really test a team and see what they're made of. But they're switching things up and bringing 2 50Bs, a Batchat, an STB, a TVP, and 2 T54s. Whole lineup change. Let's see if it works out for him. Simp with a Batchat and STB, 2 T22s, 2 TVPs, and an RU-251. Let me go ahead and make sure that we've got a front row seat to this.
Hey, save me a spot.
I always love when you just get 2 good teams going head-to-head with no muss, no fuss, just slamming into each other and see who is best. And here we go. Drynet's getting the early spot. It looks like he's going to try and climb all the way to the hill, and first tank's arriving.
Militant now coming up on top of the hill as well. External coming to join the fight. Looks like Sim might be in position a little bit sooner for Noble, but some damage there going. AC3 719 going to him. Beautiful shot from Militant. Militant getting lit up though. 1,400 points of damage. Let's see if he can get out. He does get out safely, but Canadian back taking so much, and now Noble pushing all the way through on the other side of the hill. They are trying something extremely differently. Canadian finds a draw. This is the first tank of the game going down, but Crimson picks up a kill himself. Germ finding E63M6. External though now is the target for Simp. Nitz 792, 1,200 points of damage there. Germ on the reload, so he's gonna go for the ram. The 50B is a whole bunch of tank driving right into the STB1 to finish him out. Over the prime, takes down External. It is a 5 now on 4 in favor of Noble. The HP though in favor of Simp as Over the prime takes down Germ, and this is Simp's opportunity to take down the #1 team right now in the league. Over the prime driving through, one more shot. He runs right into some rubble. I'm not sure that was planned. Canadian Impact is on the reload though in that 50B. Watch out for him. One shot goes through Over the prime, taking him down. The second shot just missing. Photo finish takes down Marsh, and Middleton might be going down himself. Crimson going for the ram, looks for the shot, misses the shot. Middleton gets out of there in time. Drynet's still on top of the hill. He hasn't been shot. He can still do some work from that position. Dodo going head-to-head against Photo finish. He should be able to take down this T22. Meanwhile, Middleton now is reloaded. Drynet's has been set to take him out. The backjack goes down to the RU-251, and Canadian Impact is on the reload. He should be going down himself. Dodo taking down Photo finish, but Drynet's and Crimson are going against Canadian. They take him down. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now Dodoma and an STB1 against Drynet's in the RU-251 and Crimson Corsair in a reloading bat chat. And if Crimson can get the reload, he might be. Who am I talking about? Drynet's has done so much work. He might be able to take down Dodo himself. One shot goes through. They exchange the fire. 233 goes into him. And it looks like Drynet's might be able to take down Dodo. Drynet's might be able to pick this one up. And the RU-251 might be the one to shine here. He takes the shot, just missing. Crimson goes for the ram. And this looks like it's all over. It is the RU-251, the tank of the game. Simp picks up their 5th and final victory against Noble, taking them out in an amazing battle onto Cliff. My mind is exploding right now. You can't see it, but my hands will show it. And I mean, David, some of the things you saw from that fight, because Noble pushed over the side. They didn't do kind of the back and forth, like, we're just going to push all the way through. Is that, I mean, what happened there?
I saw Noble going very big to try and get their 50Bs in position to get the shots that they wanted, trying to push through, trying to play aggressive. And this is a situation where the commander, the captain, will sit there and he'll talk about how you have to go big or you can't get it. But the players themselves need to know there's a time when you need to back off. And to juggle multiple things at once. There's targets here you want to kill. If you can create an isolated fight between us and them, we'll win. We're 50Bs, we're big and tough, and we'll win. But the people on the hill need to be isolated. So what Noble has to do is get further west to put rocks between them and the guys in the hill, but they didn't. And the guys in the hill
took him out.
Had all day.
The RU-251.
Let's look at stats and you'll see what I'm talking
about.
What
the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Good God.
Goodness.
Photo Finishman with 31-17. Crimson Corsair also up there, 39-22. Drynitz with almost 2,600 damage in an RU-251.
Jeez.
Overlord Prime, 1830. And everybody else that was down below did exactly what they needed to. They hit the shots the right times, and they stayed alive far too long.
Sure.
And that's what it comes down to.
That's kind of what happened
Their
last
numbers
time as
aren't
well.
huge, but they caused some serious problems. Over here for Noble, Dodema had the good positions. He got a lot of good shots. He stayed alive. He did everything he needed to. Probably the person who played the best in that particular game. Militant didn't necessarily see. He took a boatload of damage and backed down early.
Yeah, yes.
So squeezing in 2,200 at that point, pretty good.
Good for him.
For even staying
Yeah,
alive.
yeah.
And whether he took the damage unnecessarily, who knows. Germ, Canadian Impact. These are the two that got some kills. They had to go big. They didn't get enough for how much HP they traded in that period of time. Akula, External, and Marsh. Akula had some great plays, some great positioning, but he kind of got left out, hanging out to dry by his team a little bit. He overplayed a little bit. And then both the 54s did not find the angles they needed to get into that fight and participate well. They missed some critical shots. We could split hairs over it all day. But what that
Crazy.
comes down to is Simp played a fantastic game, the best they've played all season long. And
sure.
now they have taken one game off of Noble. We were talking about it. Can a team take the lead from these two now that they're here? Well, it's
Well.
on high voltage to keep their dream alive because they could be sitting at #1 again after what just happened.
That's right. If they pick up their victory, which is the 4th and 9th, before we get there, we have to go to match number 3, which will be Yo versus Color Wanted, which will be coming right up after this break.